The World Tonight. Good evening, this is Isabel Hilton. A BBC reporter, The World Tonight's John Schofield, has been shot dead by Croat soldiers. There are conflicting reports on the circumstances surrounding his death. We'll be hearing live from Zagreb.
John Schofield was 29 years old when he was killed close to the border between Bosnia and Croatia. He'd reported from a succession of war zones, from the Gulf War to the Balkan conflict, in a short but distinguished career. The John Schofield Trust is now launching a scheme to mentor a new generation of journalists, an initiative he'd definitely have approved of.
John was a gorgeous man, absolutely gorgeous. I would say this, but he did light up any room he went into. He was very, very friendly, very warm, always had a ready smile for anyone. Would be the first person to welcome people into a new space. I felt incredibly privileged to have him in my life, and when we married, I just thought I was the luckiest girl in the world. He was a journalist with immense integrity, a duty to the story. He was a real news hound, wanted to find out what was happening, wanted to be there wherever news was taking place. He had a real curiosity about it to cover it in the best way possible.
Petrinja was recaptured by the Croatian forces this weekend. Today it has all the atmosphere of a sort of theme park for soldiers and journalists. National pride has so far prevented Iraq from agreeing to the UN programme for the importation of medicines. But summer's coming on and a rise in disease seems almost inevitable. If a solution isn't found soon, the consequences could be tragic. John Schofield, ITN, Baghdad.
The mentoring scheme will give more than 20 young journalists direct access to some of the UK's leading news broadcasters. Over the course of a year, they'll get personal feedback and advice, as well as 2 face-to-face meetings. Like me, Jonathan Munro started his journalistic career as an ITN trainee. We met where the old ITN building used to stand, and he recalled meeting John for the first time.
It was the very first day of my career, and it was the very first day of his career. We met here on the first day of the ITN traineeship in 1987. So I was his first work colleague, he was my first work colleague, and we became good friends. And we were chatting that morning, and John was displaying a very trademark nervous smile. I think we were both very nervous. We were chatting about how lucky we were to get that amazing coveted traineeship in the industry. And since then, in the time that's elapsed, the industry's changed a lot. There's a lot more postgraduate courses and a lot fewer traineeships around. And that's great in its own way, but it's left something of a gap. And what we're trying to do with the mentoring scheme is to try to bridge that gap. And if we can achieve that, John would have been immensely proud of that idea.
The mentoring scheme will be a point of contact, and I think that will be enormously helpful. Journalism can be a very competitive place and can occasionally be quite dog-eat-dog. And in order to survive and to prosper and do what you passionately believe in, you need a contact and somebody who's going to say to you, you're doing the right thing, or how about you think about this a little bit differently, and just give you some pointers, some guidance, some help, so you know you're going in the right place.
It's not a recruitment programme and there are no jobs on offer, but it is a new and unique plan to try to link those at the very top of the profession with those who are just starting out.
We all need support at various points in our lives, and this to me is a perfect way of doing that, and doing it in John's name, who was so caring and supportive to his colleagues. It's the perfect marriage. So to me, that is his legacy. Journalism lost a very good friend when John was killed. Journalism and my world is a much poorer place without him in it.